So today also it would be more a kind of why data is required. I mean, the importance of data with the increasing data, the importance of data analyst, how a data analyst plays a key role. So that all a kind of discussion why the data is increasing, with the increasing data, how a data analyst plays a role. So it would be a more a kind of non-technical discussion only. We would not directly jump into the concepts of SQL or concepts of Power BI. Prior to that, let's understand why there is a need. If there is a need, how do we consume data? How do we get data? How to manage it, and how can we show it in terms of reports? So all that perspective would today we would be discussing. So once again, a very good morning and welcome to KSR Data Vision. Now, moving forward, so the agenda for today is the exact roadmap for the data analyst with cloud. Now, why with cloud? Because every data field, every field related to data might be an analyst, might be some other, apart from analyst, there are also some other roles. So for every individual role in data, there is an importance of cloud. There is a usage of cloud. So wherever you go, everything nowadays is more into cloud, with the usage of any particular application, with the usage of any particular services. Now everything is moving out from your local systems, from your legacy systems to the cloud. So for a data analyst also, cloud plays an important role. Now, why data analyst has a huge demand? And if you combine it with any of the data interpretation platforms, apart from reporting, there are some other data interpretation platforms, such as ETL, the data cleaning tools, the data processing tools. So that all processing tools, why there is a need, so that we would be kind of discussing today. Growth of data and exposure to these new skills. Now, why there is a growth of data? With the growth of data, what all skills came into picture, so that we can expertise on them and be a good data analyst, be a complete package of data analyst and get into market. Does a data analyst has to have exposure to the cloud domain? So as we discussed, everything is going in cloud. Whatever you access, whatever applications you try to consume, everything is in cloud or a kind of online domain, rather than using it from your legacy or local systems. And why jobs are easily available for data analyst? Now, there is a small hint here. For a data analyst, most of us think that only reporting, only a kind of giving you a dashboards or a dashboard view or a report view is more into a data analyst. Yes, reporting is part and parcel, but apart from reporting, who also has exposure to the additional advanced data domains, now which includes cloud, which includes ETL, which includes some big data related aspects. Now big data means not completely big data, but processing of that big data and then showing it in terms of reports. So these all concepts we are kind of going to see today. So if you have this extra exposure to these additional concepts, for a data analyst, it would be a complete package, and jobs are kind of easily available, rather than if you go only with any specific reporting or any specific a data platform or data interpretation tool. And at the end, we are also trying to discuss the certifications for data analyst, as well as a kind of engineering stack field. So what all certifications are available from the data analyst point of perspective. And as if you are expertise, there are few organizations, they also ask you for a proof in the sense you have to certainly attend few examinations, few certifications, so that it would give us a rating that you are good in so and so aspects and you can get into market. Now moving ahead, why data analysis or data analyst? So let me ask you a question. These applications we use on day-to-day basis. But apart from this, what all applications or what all real time or you maybe day-to-day applications you use on daily basis? Apart from this, you have many other applications. If anyone could answer, um, any more applications for bus booking, for your daily
Link.
groceries? Quite a good. Okay.
Okay.
So
Reviews.
whichever application you uh, take a name of, wherever you go, you always create an account. Now it might be your Zerodha account also, for a demat account, for your stocking, for your broking. We always try to create an account. Now every application has a different account. Might be our email ID would be same, or else we can have a same password also. But every application we have to register it separately. So the way you register, somewhere your data is stored. Maybe it is not exposed to the public domain or not even the employees of that particular organization or that application, but somewhere your data is encrypted, somewhere your data is stored. Now that storing process is nothing but your database or maybe any backend data warehouse. Now, more the number of people, more would be the data. If you consume your social networking also, you try to post your uh, maybe your images, maybe your current status, any social media application. Wherever you go, you try to post something. Now that posting something means it is consuming some memory, it is occupying some memory, and that memory is stored somewhere in the background. Maybe your credentials are not exposed, but your image is exposed to your friends, maybe your contacts, your connects there. So uh, more you store, more would be the requirement of the data, and that is how the data is increasing on daily basis. Now if you take your online booking applications also, let's consider the Blinkit. um, you have a Blinkit account. Now Blinkit, I'm not sure of many of you know or not, but it's an online grocery application. It's only available in few metro cities in India, but it is growing to all the tier 2 cities also. So if you take Blinkit, we create an account. So somewhere your data is stored. Apart from creating an account, we try to search whatever food item we want to purchase. Maybe any grocery, maybe any vegetable, maybe any fresh fruits or something. So that all information is stored somewhere in the application. Now, somewhere in the sense, backend there is a database. Backend there is a data warehouse. Now that storing process improves, or that storing process increases the data. So the more the data, more would be the need of data analyst. Now why data analyst? As I've said, in order to interpret, in order to research why there is a why we want to improve certain businesses. Maybe if Blinkit is thinking that in some particular area we are getting good orders, and certain area we are not getting that great orders, so we need to focus on that area. Why we are lacking in that area? Is there something we are missing out? Is there something we can match up with the particular area where we are getting good orders or not? Now that particular analysis has to be done by a data analyst. Now prior to that, he has to certainly understand the data. He has to certainly get the exact meaning. What all the data we have, uh, are we getting in terms of table? Are we getting in terms of unstructured data, maybe a NoSQL data, so that we can gather it together, create a structured data, and then go with the further data analysis or reporting? Now that all processes comes under the part and parcel of data analyst. Now moving ahead, these are few statistics. These are few numerical statistics: growth of data and skills to tackle the growth. Now this is just a growth of data. What all skills are required, that also we would be discussing. This is approximately on an average figures in 2023, around 4.9. So it would be around 5 billion people who are using social media across the world. Now, I'm not sure the exact count, what is the exact count of population, but it is somewhere more than 8 billion people in this planet Earth. So around 55 to 60% folks in the world are using the social media applications, maybe not on daily basis, but they do have their accounts created in any of the social media applications. Now, let's take an example of WhatsApp only. We are so much dependent on WhatsApp that whatever information, maybe if we want to connect with our family, we want to connect with our friends, or maybe even our office colleagues, or even your college colleagues, or maybe college friends, anything you want, you always connect with WhatsApp. Now, the use case of WhatsApp has increased with the introduction of WhatsApp call, with the introduction of WhatsApp video call. Why? Because we are able to connect them easily, not only by messages, by using calls also. So if you take WhatsApp call, somewhere your information is getting stored. Now, stored in the sense, maybe not your video, but if you create a video call, if you do a video call, somewhere the information is getting stored, the memory is consumed there. Now that consumption of memory will create a data, and with that data, we have to certainly analyze that data. WhatsApp would certainly analyze the data, that which people are using this WhatsApp video call. Do we need to improve our service somewhere? Do we need to take certain feedback from the people? Now that all feedback, that all improvement of services are a part and parcel of their feedback service. Now that feedback service is, they certainly create a form. They'll send you certain details that are you satisfied with our service or not? Now that all concepts, if they take certain feedback also, somewhere that feedback is also stored. Now, everything which you are trying to use with your social media, an information is generated, a data is generated. Now that generated data stored somewhere and analyzed by the data analyst to improve, to certainly get a good business. Now, if you take any specific statistics, so if you see from 2017, number of social media users were 2.73 billion. Now, 17 is not way more back. We are in 2023. So 2023 means around 6 years back. Or maybe we'll assume that as 24 only, 7 years back. 2017, it was around 2.73 billion. And within 7 years, now we are in the 2023, probably around 4.90 billion or 5 billion users of social media. Now, if you estimate it for next 10 years, that is till 2027, if you see here, it would be around 6 billion. So if 2.73 billion, it is an approximate, I'm taking a certain value. If 2.73 billion people are generating around 100 petabytes of data, now this is just a example, it might be way more than this. If they're generating around 100 petabytes of data on daily basis, around 2023, this would be around 1000 petabyte also. Now, why petabyte? Because this is approximately, or the most use cases, wherever the data is high, we use this petabytes of information. Now, if you compare this 1000 petabytes also, somewhere downwards around 2010, 27, it would be maybe 5000 petabytes. So increase in data definitely will improve the use case of data analyst. Now, use case of data analyst means more the data, more would be the data analyst rules. Now, that is how the importance of data analyst in today's world is. Now, if you're taking any specific social media statistics, WhatsApp has around 2 billion users. Now, probably this is approximate of 2022, but this might have increased to 3 billion also in 2023. Because in last 1 or 2 years, the usage of social media has peaked in any specific application. So assume any specific social media platform, any specific application you're using on day-to-day basis, maybe your online grocery application, maybe your DMAT application, maybe your bus or IRCTC, the railway applications. Now, somewhere many of us might also have experienced the improvement in IRCTC also. I'm not sure how you folks book tickets, but one who knows that around 10 a.m. in the morning, the Tatkal ticket quota generally opens. And if you're trying to log in at that specific time, most of us would not be able to log in. Maybe if you're able to log in also, at the end of the ticket booking, you will come back to the same position where you were at the start of the booking. Now, that is how the importance of any application is, because IRCTC is consuming around, assume that there are around 60 crore peoples in India who are approximately using that IRCTC application around 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. in the morning. Now, out of that 60 crores, many might not be able to succeed with their ticket booking. Why? Because that is how large that application is. If around 50-60 crore people or 50-60 crore logins are there, it would definitely crash that application. So in order to improve any specific service, now that's a government service, it will take some time. That is separate. I mean, the discussion is completely different there, but wherever you go, the data is increasing. The best example I've said, IRCTC application. If you log in at 10, if you log in at 11, 99% of the time, the ticket booking is not done. Okay, 1% we get a luck. At the end, the OTP receives the whatever payment information we have pasted there. We usually get a luck there of 1%, but 99% of the time, the payment fails, or maybe we'll get back to the same position we were in. Now, why? Because number of people have logged in, they are trying to enter their information, so that all information is clubbed together and stored in the background, maybe your database or data warehouse. And at a one single go, we have to certainly improve our services. Now, for that improvement, we always have to focus, we always have to tackle that improvement with the multiple skills which we are going to cover in this course. Now, these are few important things to know about data. These are all statistics. Google does around 99,000 searches every minute. Now, this is an average approximate value, 99,000 searches. On an average, it would be around, now, if anyone can read this figure, video streamed by YouTuber, okay? Anyone could read this figure, 694K. So how do we read it in and
6,94,000 hours.
Okay, the Indian format is 6,94,000, but in general we usually read it as 694K.
Right.
694,000 hours of video are streamed by YouTuber. Now, let me ask you a question. You have a video song which you are very I mean, you have a good liking for that specific video song, and would you download it from YouTube or would you try to stream it online only? The current scenario. Earlier, we were downloading that, we were using the offline services, but with
Stream
the current
online.
scenario, okay, stream online,
right?
Quite a good. So why stream online means easier for us. It is not even consuming any specific memory in our device. The only consumption is our data. The internet which we are using, only consumption is our data. But somewhere the data is stored, maybe not in your local system, but that data is stored somewhere. Now, somewhere is that cloud application. YouTube is somewhere connected to a backend database, and that database is connected to a cloud. Now, to a cloud means we can access YouTube from anywhere in the world. If you have internet with our login credentials, we can access this YouTube from any specific. Now, YouTube is a part and parcel of certain cloud, maybe GCP, because YouTube is a product of Google, and that YouTube is present, or the information whichever YouTube is generating, that is present in your Google Cloud platform, and we can access with our YouTube login with our credentials. Now, 90% of the data in the world, this is most important sentence, was generated in last 5 years. 90% of the data. So probably if you go back to last 10 years or last 20 years also, only 10% of the data was generated, or prior to that. I mean, when was this information technology came into picture? All this data which is generated maybe around 2017 or 18. From then the data was doubled, the generation of data was more. Why? Because applications, use case of apps, use case of online automated services, everything got automated, everything got applicationized. We were using with a single click, we are everything we are using now, with every single click it generates data. So 90% of the data in the world is generated in last 5 years. Now, in last 5 years means if you take a future trend also, if you assume maybe another another 5% of the data is generated in next 2 or 3 years, if that is how the large data is, in order to analyze that data, the use or maybe the importance of data analyst would also increase. The importance of data analyst would also increase. So more the data, more would be the roles for data analyst. Now, apart from analysis of data, we have to certainly have expertise in some other data aspects. Now, only analyzing data is not important. Understanding the data is important first, and then analyzing the data. In order to understand that, we have to clean that data. We have to certainly process that data. So for all these processes, we are going to cover some different tools so that all tools will club together to give you a better informative role for a data analyst. Now, if you take few more examples, Instagram posts per minute, around 64K posts. Twitter tweets. Now, this is approximately of around 2022 information. This might have increased drastically with the movement of Twitter to X. Now, Twitter is renamed as X platform. So around 4 lakhs approximately. Now it might be around 4 lakhs tweets per minute. So more the number of tweets, more would be the information generated, and somewhere it is stored in the backend, which is further connected to cloud, Every specific application is connected to cloud. 328.77 million terabytes of data is consumed every day. Now this is TB, 328 million terabytes. 328 million. It is not 328 terabytes. It is 328 million terabytes of data is consumed every day. Now this is an approximate average value. That is how large and vast data is. Now every data nowadays is further connected to cloud. Now cloud also has to certainly work well. There are few drawbacks in using cloud also, but for overcoming that drawbacks, the cloud providers are also taking necessary measures. What all measures they are taking, we'll try to see in further slides. Now, does a data analyst has to have exposure to cloud or technical domain? Now, cloud tech domain. This is an important word. Now, we discussed few important concepts here about data. Whichever data we have discussed, somewhere it is stored. Now that somewhere means it is stored in a cloud application, maybe in the cloud in the background. Now that's the question. Does a data analyst has to have exposure to cloud technical domain? Now the answer is a very big yes. Answer is very big yes. Not only reporting, not only cleaning of data, but somewhere we have to store that data. Now, somewhere in the sense nowadays, it is cloud. Everything you see, everything you access, that is all present in the cloud. The only thing you have to do is you have to log in that application and connect to the cloud. Now, connect to the cloud means application is already connected somewhere with the cloud. The only thing you have to do, log in it and access your data. The best example we have seen, if you are if you are used to with any video song which you like on daily basis. Now let's take an example of the latest movies only. Most of us are addicted to the latest releases, and we are addicted to the kind of songs which we usually see on daily basis. Now that specific song only, you have a probability, you have a option to download it. Maybe at certain places you won't get data, but you have an option to download that. But usually we avoid downloading any specific video song or any specific song also. Why? Because it is consuming some memory in our storage. It is occupying some memory in our storage, which will reduce our phone storage. But certainly if we have a good data connection, everywhere we go, we can access that via YouTube, any application, any video streaming application, or maybe YouTube. Now YouTube connected to cloud. YouTube is always connected to cloud. If you try to search any specific YouTube video, it will go back. Whatever you try to search there, depending on that keyword, it will go back to the cloud. It will process the data, that whatever information present with the specific keywords we have entered, it will try to get that information, and it will again present that data to the YouTuber or the person who's trying to search. Now, this is a kind of cyclic conversion of data. What you search from the YouTube, it goes to cloud, it gets that data, and it again presents that data to the end user, whoever is trying to search. Now, with this cyclic application, there are few drawbacks. Now, what drawbacks means? If you have a good data connection, but still there is a downtime in cloud. Downtime means every application has a downtime. Now, let us take an application of banking. If you have an HDFC net banking application, we usually get SMSs. Maybe in the weekends only we usually get SMS that on Sundays or maybe on Saturdays, there is a downtime using your net banking application from so and so time, maybe from 8 a.m. in the morning to 5 p.m. in the evening. You cannot use this the HDFC net banking application on the Sundays. We have a downtime. Not every day we'll get, not every Sunday you'll get this, but somewhere there is a downtime. Why there is a downtime? Because certainly this HDFC application, the mobile banking application, is further connected to their server, which is further connected to cloud. Because your information is stored somewhere, that stored somewhere means it is further connected to cloud. Now, in order to improve the cloud services, in order to keep the cloud services active for next few days, or maybe from Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday, the bank working days, on Sundays, they'll try to analyze whether our cloud application is working fine or not. If there is certain improvement which has to be made, that improvement can be made on this time, probably from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on the Sundays. Why? Because on Sundays, the bank is closed, or maybe any financial transactions are not done. Usually we avoid doing any financial transactions on the bank holidays. Now that is how, if you again come back to the application, the YouTube application, if there is certain downtime in the YouTube cloud, whatever you search, that search would not work properly. Nowadays, very rarely you will come across this scenario. Why? Because YouTube is certainly developed in such a way that there won't be any specific downtime. Instagram, you will certainly get a downtime for, I'm not sure in last 6 months or maybe in last 3 months there was a downtime or not, but prior to that, Instagram was going down. Maybe every few days it was going down, whatever you post, or maybe if you're trying to search your feeds or search your photos also, somewhere Instagram was going down frequently in last 1 year. Not exactly last 6 months, or prior to that last 1 year, Instagram was going down. Why? Because somewhere they are lagging their connectivity with the cloud. Their connectivity with the cloud has been distracted. Now, in order to get that solution, in order to completely fix that solution, it will take some time for the development team. Now, that downtime is the important factor for any specific cloud. Now, in order to come across, in order to improve that, every cloud provider is trying to improve their service, is trying to make sure that if there is certain downtime, it is somewhere connected to some other cloud or somewhere connected to some other load balancer. Now, the concept of balancing the data is called as load balancing. Now, these are all advanced concepts. These we are going to cover in our future lectures. But for cloud also, there is a downtime, there is a drawback, which is If there is a downtime in the cloud, whatever information present in the cloud, it will take some time. Now, in order to overcome that, every cloud provider is taking necessary measures. Now that all concepts are part and parcel of any specific cloud which we are trying to access. Now, coming back to the point, for a data analyst, cloud domain is an important aspect. You always need to have exposure to cloud domain. Maybe not end to end, but you should have a good understanding of cloud from the data analyst point of perspective. Whatever information you analyze, whatever information you clean, that all information has to present somewhere in the cloud and accessed through the reporting services, accessed through the reporting tools. Now, moving ahead, one of the important cloud which we are going to discuss today is Microsoft Azure. Now, the spelling is wrong here. This spelling, we make it. So Microsoft Azure, it's an important cloud service. Now, why Microsoft Azure means we would be more into tools which are related to Microsoft. We would be using that specific tools which are more related to Microsoft. If you take an example of Power BI, it's a product of Microsoft. Our course, we would be covering Power BI. Power BI is a product of Microsoft. Azure, product of Microsoft. The name itself says Microsoft Azure. Now, the data analyst domain which we are going to discuss, it would be more a kind of Microsoft product, which would be complete part and parcel managed by the Microsoft team. Now, let us discuss what Microsoft Azure means and when was it introduced. Now, Azure, it's a name given. It was introduced in the PDA, the Professional Development, the Developer Conference, way back in 2008. Even though it was developed in 2008, in general, it was launched in February 2010. Now, in general means, if I take an example, the current example, the best example is Microsoft Fabric. I'm not sure how many of you know this concept. How many of you know what do you mean by Microsoft Fabric? In our demo lecture, we have given you a basic idea. Fabric, this tool, the concept of Fabric. Okay, so I'm getting few pings that I'm unable to hear. Is it same with everyone or is it same with few folks? I've two comments that I'm unable to hear.
You are audible. You are audible.
Okay, so request for the folks who are unable to hear, try to check your data connection, try to check your internet, or maybe disconnect and connect back. Now, coming back to point, Microsoft Fabric came into picture in 2020-23 only, the 2023, but this product was kind of launched back in 2022 only. Even though it was not publicly available, this product was launched in 2022, but this was came in public. This was introduced to the public domain in 2023. The importance, the background processing of Fabric, how this product should work, this was all developed in 2022. Now, how could I know? I work for Microsoft. I was part of a team, certainly, where they didn't release this name. They didn't, disclose this name as Fabric. They only said that we are working on an integrated product where everything can be clubbed together. From 2022 March, they're trying to give us some hints. They're trying to give us some information that we are working on certain product, which everything would be clubbed together. Now that product, they came up with a name called as Fabric. They introduced in 2023, but in 2022 only, they were trying to develop this product. Now, similarly, if you come back to the Azure, it was introduced in 2008. The name was Project Red Dog. Certainly, they had given certain code name. If you take any assignments, or the best example is our security services, our army. If they are trying to work on any specific mission, that mission, they give a certain name to it. Now, Azure, the PDA conference, in Professional Developer Conference, the Microsoft have given a name, the code name, which is Project Red Dog, and officially it was launched in 2010. So if anyone asks you when was this Microsoft Azure launched, it was launched in 2010, not 2008. Yeah, it was introduced via PDA conference with this name, but it was officially launched in 2010. And the name itself says it was called as Windows Azure, not Microsoft Azure. In 2014, they have renamed it to Microsoft Azure. We'll take few statistics. It's the second largest cloud provider. Now, how many of you know which is the largest cloud provider in today's scenario, or maybe in today's world? Good. Amazon, the AWS is quite an older service as compared to Azure. They have introduced their cloud way back, probably in 2006 or 7. They have launched it, but they have introduced prior to Azure. Now, still the market leader is AWS, but Azure, with the introduction in 2014, I'll keep it as 2014 rather than 2010. Why? Because in 2010 to 14, there was very, very low usage. There were certainly very few services present in Microsoft Azure. And by 2014, most of the services were introduced. And if you see a trend, from 2014, somewhere it was around 7th or 8th largest cloud provider. Then in 2014, it has drastically improved its performance. It's the second largest cloud provider. Now, somewhere Microsoft would get a benefit. Why? Because every product, if you take an example of Windows, now most of us use Windows. Yeah, there are few laptops, there are few systems which work on Mac, which work on Linux, but very few systems. If you take a market share, they'll definitely get a kind of uh, most of the share, most of the laptop market, most of our system market is based on Windows. So they'll certainly get a benefit there. With the introduction of Azure, they have come across to the second position, the second largest cloud provider, maybe which was around 7th or 8th largest cloud provider back in 2014. Now you'll also have a question that in 2014, were there 7 or 8 different cloud providers? Yes, we may not be exposed to that intent of the cloud in 2014, but nowadays most of our applications are in cloud. So that is how the cloud has evolved. That is how the Azure has evolved from 7th or 8th position. It has moved on to the second largest cloud provider. And 80% of the Fortune companies, the Forbes or Fortune companies, use Azure cloud. Now you'll have a question that if 80% of them are using Azure, if AWS is the market leader, only 20% all other cloud providers are using. Now every company uses a combination of cloud. If you take an example of Microsoft, Microsoft has their own cloud, they'll only focus on Azure. If you take an example of Amazon, they have their own cloud, they'll only focus on AWS. But if you take an example of any specific, let's take an example of Motorola, let's take an example of Lenovo. These are one of the market leaders in the mobile or maybe in the device application share. Now, these companies use a combination of both. They'll go with AWS, they'll go with Azure, or probably they'll also go with GCP. Now I'll only name these three because these three are the market leaders. There are other cloud providers also, like Oracle, like Salesforce. If you take any specific other cloud providers also, there are multiple cloud providers. Now, coming back to the example, if you take an example of Motorola or Lenovo, they'll always use a hybrid cloud. Hybrid in the sense, they'll always combine AWS for few applications. They'll use Azure for few applications. Why? Because they'll try to analyze which cloud service or which cloud provider is good. If AWS is good, most of their applications, they'll work in AWS. If Azure is good, they'll go with the Azure. Now, many high-tech companies, now I'll keep it as the name should be high-tech. Many high-tech companies in the world use a combination of both. They'll always go with AWS, they'll always go with Azure, or probably they'll also go with GCP, a combination of 3 different cloud providers. Now that is how 80% of the companies, the Fortune companies, always have a usage of Azure. Now, if you check a probability, AWS would be around somewhere 80% again, and GCP would be kind of around 40 to 50%. Now, most of the companies use these two services, AWS and Azure. Now, Azure, it's a pay as you go. We'll try to see few advantages of Azure over AWS also when time comes. But for now, we'll focus on the other points. Azure, it's a pay as you go cloud. Now, pay as you go, whichever application you use, you have to pay for that application only. If you're not using that application, now let's take an example. Maybe today is 15th or 14th of December. Okay, today is 14th of December. On 14th of December, you are using a service one in Azure. Now, this service one is maybe consuming some amount. Now, that some amount means if it is consuming around 1000 Indian rupees, certainly this service is still active. This service is still active. And we have moved on to 15th of December. On 15th of December, service is still active, but we are not using this service. We are not using this service. Now, if you are not using this service, it will generate no bill, 0 rupees. Now, that is the biggest advantage of using Microsoft Azure. It's a pay as you go cloud. Only services which you are using on daily basis, for that specific services only you have to pay. Even if that service is active, but you're not using it, it will never generate any amount. Now, that is the edge you get from AWS. In AWS, around 60 to 70% services, if you create a service and even if you're not using, somewhere it will generate few amount. Now, there are few services in Azure also. If you create it for 1 month, there is a package. Now, let's take an example of Fabric. Fabric, even if you use, even if you don't use, it is a package product. If Fabric is costing around $10,000 or 10,000 Indian rupees per month, if you create Fabric on day one itself, it will consume 10,000 Indian rupees. So at the end of 30 days also, which is our monthly product of Fabric, it would be 10,000 only. But certainly there are 70 to 80% services in Azure which are pay as you go. Now, pay as you go means if you are using it on daily basis, then only it will generate certain amount. Azure supports multiple locations. Now, on an average means the regions has increased now. It would be around 55 or 56 regions. This was the start of 2023. There were 54 different regions in Azure. Now, what do you mean by region? What do you mean by reason? Now, reason means if a cloud, if a particular service, you're trying to deploy that service, there has to be certain region. Now, there are multiple regions, there are multiple locations where you want to deploy this particular service. Now, service means, let's take an example. Let's take an example of YouTube only. Now, YouTube may not be deployed in only one specific location. YouTube may not be deployed in one specific location. If you're trying to access YouTube from India, the nearest cloud would be related to India location only. If any user who is trying to access YouTube from India, somewhere that information, YouTube information is present in the cloud. Now, that particular information is present near to Indian region. Every cloud has different regions. If YouTube is deployed in multiple locations, now wherever you log in from that particular location, it will try to fetch the nearest location and it will get that data from the nearest location. Now, if you're trying to log in from US has around 6 to 7 different regions. US East, US West, US South. There are multiple regions. In India also, Azure has 3 different regions. Azure Central, that is Azure India Central, Azure South, and they have recently introduced Azure West. There are 3 different regions present in India. So depending on the requirement, whichever service you create in cloud, you can deploy it to your nearest location or location which is most suitable for you. Biggest advantage, cheaper and compatible with many Microsoft applications. Now, if I want to simplify it, you can easily combine any service with Microsoft Fabric or Microsoft Power BI. Why? Because both are product of Microsoft. Azure can be combined with Power BI easily. Azure can be combined with Microsoft Fabric easily. Most of the applications which we are going to see in our course are related to Microsoft, and every application which is present in Azure, it is easily combined with the Power BI or Fabric. Compatible, easily compatible, and it is cheaper. Now, I have not compared it. I have not compared it directly with the AWS, but it is way more cheaper than AWS. AWS, it's a market leader. Why? Because it was introduced prior to Azure, and they have kept that market presence, market dominance. But somewhere in the future, the Azure would be leader because it has moved from 7th position to the 2nd position. Now, we have discussed the importance of Azure Cloud, why Azure Cloud is important. Now, if I go back to the next slide, these are the few cloud insights. Now, cloud insights means there are multiple services. Now, services in the sense, if you take an example, databases. Databases means certainly information is stored somewhere. Now, somewhere means database. Now, that database can be a product of cloud. The database can be present in the cloud. Now, if you take an example, media. If you want to save, if you want to store certain media, that media can be stored in the cloud also. Now, there are web applications, your websites, your online websites, everything can be hosted via cloud. Migration of information. Migration means you have a certain laptop. This is laptop A. From this laptop, you want to move resources to laptop B, which is present in a different location. Now, if you want to move resources, you can use a pen drive if both the laptops are present at the same location. But certainly if laptop A and laptop B are present at different locations, there has to be certain cloud connectivity between them. You want to move files from A to B or from B to A, there has to be certain cloud connectivity. Now, that cloud connectivity, if you have a cloud, they have an application called as migration. Now, for certainly migration, there are different services present in Azure. Depending on our requirement, we can select any specific migration service. But approximately on an average, migration can be done using cloud. These are 18 different category of services available in Microsoft Azure. Now, categories are different and services are different. Migration is a category. Under migration, there are different services. Under networking, there are different services. Under databases, there are different types of databases. Now, if you take an example of compute, what do you mean by compute? Compute means virtual machines. Folks who are working in the industry now, no, not the technical industry also, but if you're trying to access your client applications via VDI, via virtual machine, you have to connect it to the cloud. Somewhere that virtual machine is hosted in the cloud. That is nothing but a compute service. Your artificial intelligence and machine learning services. There are multiple services with AI and ML category in the Microsoft Azure. Best example, security service. Now, security service means you're trying to access an application. In order to access that, for certain applications, there is an option called as authenticator. How many of you know this authenticator? There is an application called as authenticator.
Yes, sir.
So what that authenticator
It's
does
like
is
you get a passcode or
Mhm. A kind of 2-digit information or numerical information is stored or given to us, so that if you enter that, it would be authenticated that you are a right person and it would be logged in. Now, certainly security is also an important aspect for every website, every application. Now that security category is also present in the Microsoft Azure. There are multiple services related to authentication, authorization. How do we deal with if there is any security breach? How to improve our security? Every product is part and parcel of cloud nowadays. These are all different categories. Under every category, there are multiple services. Mobile, your mobile apps, your bot application. Bot application means if you try to see your net banking websites, you'll get a chatbot application somewhere in the downward. You'll get a chatbot application here. Hey, how do you want help? What help you want? If you type some information, it will try to give you certain automated backend information. Now that chatbot application is part and parcel of mobile category in cloud service. Your management tools, how to manage your applications, if there is any downtime, how to improve performance, that all applications are present in this management tools category. Now security and identity might look similar. Identity is nothing, also authentication only, but there are few differences between identity and security. Now when we move to Azure, we'll discuss all these categories. We'll discuss what all services we would be going to cover. But on an average, there are 18 different categories and 200 plus services. Now I'll keep it as 300 also, because there are more than 300 services present in the Microsoft Azure as of today. This was around 2022. As of today, there are 300 different services. Every service is a kind of somewhere clubbed with multiple categories. Now, virtual machine can be part of compute. Virtual machine can be part of networking also, because in order to access any virtual machine, your networking process has to be cool. Your networking process has to be very active. So virtual machine is a product of compute as well as networking. A single service can be part of multiple categories also. So moving further, we'll try to discuss the demand in jobs. Today, I mean, till date or till last 1 hour, from last 1 hour, I'm trying to say about cloud, I'm trying to give information about data, but why there is a demand and what would be the demand? Now, these emojis are only for informative purpose. Don't go with the exact, if 2x salary is not satisfied. Now it purely depends on individuals also, but certainly if you are working as a data analyst, as a data aspect or data analyst, somewhere you are in this bracket, 3.5 to 4x bracket. Now what do you mean by 3.5 to 4x bracket? Means if you are a backend developer, maybe Java developer, maybe any website developer. Now website means not the front end, your backend developer. Your salary would be 2x into your experience. Assuming that you have a 5 year of FCBN experience, a guy with 5 years of experience who is a Java developer can expect around minimum 10 lakhs of package. Now, if you go beyond that, if you have a certainly good expertise in front end applications, which includes React, which includes Angular, which includes Vue.js, these are all front end services, you can expect 3x of your salary. 3x means 3 into 5 years of experience, which would be around 15 LPA per year, 15 lakhs per annum per year. Now, the most important or the highest bracket is for data roles, data analyst, or maybe data scientist, or maybe data engineer. These are all data roles. For every data role, you can expect minimum 3.5 into your experience, 3.5x into your experience. Now in 2022, the market was around 15 to 20% growth. Now the current scenario, 2022 or 2023, now we have moved out from 2023. We are in end of 2023. There was a recession accepted. There was a downtime. There was certainly jobs. People were removed out from jobs, accepted, because this industry is certainly volatile. But if you have checked that, if you have gone back to the 2022 or 2020 start of 2023, data analyst jobs or jobs related to data were still, we had openings related to data. Okay, people with other technical aspects, there was a downtime, but for a data analyst, for a data engineer, or for a data scientist, the openings were still available. Maybe not that frequently, but still there were openings. Now, if you compare it with the further trend, the future trend, in 2024 or 2025, there would be a rise of 30 to 40%. It was around 15 to 20, but certainly market is with upward trend now. And folks, I'm not sure who use LinkedIn, who use the job sites. Most of you have seen that there are multiple openings. Starting from December till month of June, there would be multiple openings related to data analytics field. And the market is upward trend. In 2022, it went down. Even though it went down, the jobs related to data aspect or data field was not that way down. There were still openings. But in 2023, certainly it has picked up a trend. And in 2024, you can expect a good hike. You can expect a good increase in number of jobs available for a data analyst. Now, this 3.5x to 4x salary bracket, this is a guaranteed bracket you can expect for a data analyst. If you know tools related to DA, the data analyst, one reporting tool, one cloud, one data processing tool. Now, data processing tool means you should always know database also first. I'll keep database at the utmost priority. If you know all these tools, database, reporting, cloud, and data processing tool, every one tool also, you can definitely expect this bracket amount, this bracket package. Varun has a question that, are you talking about general market or Indian market? I'll talk more about Indian market only, but in general also you can expect, because jobs in USA are kind of downward trend. They are increasing now, but most of the folks who are working from India, they will definitely see an increase in the market. In 2024. What about Australia? Varun, were you present for the demo presentation on the Monday, or sorry, on the Sunday which we had? There I've shown you a graph. If I wanted to show it again, just a moment, I'll pause this. I'll show you that graph also. It will give you a better understanding. The one who are present for the demo lecture or demo session on Sunday, somewhere I've shown you this representation. If I take an example, the downward chart, the chart which is present at the bottom. Varun is from Australia. Now you can get your information. This was analyzed in 2023, start of 2023, or maybe end of 2022 and 2023 start. This region would have most number of jobs related to data and data aspects. Now, data analyst, data engineering, or data scientist. This region, the complete Asia, the Asia Pacific region. Yeah, definitely. The second would be the US market, the European market, the African market or the Gulf market would be kind of back, because they are more into petroleum, they are more into natural resources. But for information technology, Asia Pacific is the highest market trend in current world. because there is more, you could expect more from this region. Why? Because population is more would be the population, more would be the expectation, because uh, kind of easier to get resources as compared to US. Folks in India are more trained for the data analyst or maybe any specific aspects. The number of you could expect a good salary in Indian rupees. If you compare it with US dollars also, it would be way more better. In US dollars, yeah, comparatively, because we have to certainly get that certain specific amount. So if you compare, if you convert that currency in Indian rupees, it would be higher in India. The population is more in the Asia Pacific region, so more would be the opportunities here, and this is one of the developing market. If you compare it with the economic situation also, US is already a stringent market, whereas if you compare Asia and Pacific, it's the most hot market, you could say. The most every country is a developing country here, so you can expect more boom or more opportunities here in this region. Now, this is not what I am saying. This is certainly this is from Mordor Intelligence. It's a analysis agency who have researched here and who have interpreted the information. This is not my words. If you check any specific intelligence, or if you check any specific analysis done by multiple organizations around the world, the Asia Pacific is the developing region, and you can expect more from this region. Now, going back to the presentation. Now, as I've said, 2024 market would be an upward trend. You can definitely expect this 30-40% growth. And if you compare it with 26 or 27, maybe our future, next 3 years of future, it would be 50-60% of market increase. And this bracket, 3.5x to 4x salary bracket, this is a guaranteed bracket you will get for data analyst or data engineer or a data scientist role. For every data related role, you can definitely get this bracket. Why? Because more the data, more would be the importance of analysis, more would be the importance of understanding the data and improving the business. Now, at the end, I'm going to give you an idea. There are few certifications related to data analytics as well as engineering. Now, why I have kept engineering also, you have a certain edge. We are trying to cover few engineering topics also in our course. Data analytics, Power BI and SQL, end to end we are going to cover. For engineering aspect, we are going to cover few ETL tools, few big data analysis tools, which includes Databricks, which includes Synapse. Now, these are all big data analytical tools that also we are going to cover. So from the certification point of perspective, there are 2 different certifications available. Apart from these 2, there are other certifications also, but these 2 are the basic certifications. And I'll also mention about certification called as AZ900. AZ900 is a basic cloud understanding certification for Azure. Basic cloud certification. This is for Azure. Now, these all certificates are part and parcel of Microsoft domain only. There are few other certifications which are not a product of Microsoft, but for a Power BI point of perspective, you should always have this certification, which is PL300. This certification would cost you 4,800 Indian rupees. Folks who are from USA or from other countries, you can always visit Microsoft certification website. If you enter this Microsoft certifications in the Google, it will navigate you to the first website only, the first link only. It would navigate you. You can always see whatever amount from your respective region is. For India, it's 4,800 Indian rupees. You will get a kind of 50% discount from the KSR team, where the amount would be reduced to 50%. Now, there are some tricks also in order to get free certification. That tricks also I'll be trying to explain you once you would be enrolling this course. Maybe In between of the course, I'll try to give you certain tricks. How do we get this free certification? But from KSR end, you'll definitely get a 50% off, which is a big advantage. And earlier, this PL300 examination was called as DA 100, Data Analyst 100. They have certainly changed few. The name of the examination is also changed. The syllabus, there is a slight change in syllabus also. They have upgraded it with the few latest concepts. Earlier it was DA 300, now it's PL 300. That is the biggest difference. This is for data analyst, certified Power BI data analyst. If you complete this course, at the end of this course, you can always attempt this associate level certificate. Now, the flow of certificate is in three different manners. Now, three different manners means if you're trying to give any certifications from the Microsoft website or from the Microsoft domain, you will always start with first, which is basic. Basic is AZ900. AZ900 is a cloud understanding certificate. If you are able to know what Azure is, how services are present, what all regions are there, what all categories are there, what do you mean by subscription, what do you mean by resource group, these are all concepts related to cloud. If you know this, you would always, better recommended, you should always start with AZ900. This is the basic level certificate. After basic level, there is an associate level, which is level 2. Now, data analyst is an associate level or the highest level for a data analyst perspective. After associate, there is an architect level certification. Now for us, architect is not that required. If you are working as a data engineer, more as a data engineer, you can expect this architect certificate, or more as a data architect. This is high level certification for 10 plus years of experience. Anything below this, you can always attempt basic and associate. This is way more higher, 10 plus year of experience, and you need to know all in-depth concepts. Every in-depth concept you need to know. If you attempt basic and associate, which is more than enough for us in order to enter any specific market. And it is always recommended to attempt this PL300. Why? Because it will certainly give you an edge. If you are going into market, if you put your resume in Naukri and you also mention that I have a certification from Microsoft, which is PL300, once you mention this, and you should always mention a certificate ID. If they found this certificate as a valid, you will always get an edge. If there are 10 people with same experience who HR has shortlisted, and you are the only one who has this PL300 certification, you would be the first person to get an interview call. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't have certification, you'll not get interview call. That is not the case, but definitely if you have a certificate, you will have an edge. Edge in the sense, a benefit that you have a certificate, you are a certified professional from a Microsoft end, that you have a good exposure to Power BI, and they will definitely shortlist you first. There it will play an important role. Once you enter a market, once you are in the you got selected, there you have to work independently. Now that depends on the requirement, that depends on what skill you know. But in order to get edge in the interviews, in order to get advantage in the shortlisting process, if you have a certification, it will definitely benefit you. Apart from PL300, there is a certification for data engineering, which is DP203. Sorry, DP203. This is more related to engineering stack, which will include the ETL services, the Synapse services, the Databricks services. Now, this is recommended once you have a good exposure in the Azure cloud terminologies. Not basic cloud, but in-depth Azure cloud terminologies, which are used for processing, which are used for cleaning the data. Recommended is you should always go with PL300 for our course. If you are certainly good in Azure aspects, you can also attempt this DP203, and you'll get 2 chances. For one payment, you'll get 2 chances. Now, these are the 2 important certifications. I'll close this session. I'm done with whatever I want to present whatever I want to represent. I'm open for questions. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to ask me. The thing is, please raise your hand so that I can take up your questions one after the other. Just a moment. I'll take a pause of 1 minute and I'll attend your questions. Okay, so I'll start with the Ajay's question that when PL 300 examination, there isn't any specific time. Ajay, if you want to attempt it tomorrow also, you can register it today. If there is a slot available tomorrow, you can give that examination. Throughout the year, you can attempt examination depending on the available slots. It is not like our college or school examinations that you have to attempt quarterly, yearly, or half yearly examination. You can attempt on any specific day. Okay, so I have seen few hands which are being raised.
Okay, so these certificates we can enroll, and like how many attempts we can get in this certificate? Like if we are paying 4,800,
Okay.
so after this course completion, are we able to competitive to crack this exam?
So to answer this in one word, you will definitely able to crack this examination if you completely attend Power BI without any. Maybe if you try to practice on weekend basis also, you'll definitely attempt that PL 300. Yeah. So the number of attempts is 4,800 is certainly a big amount. I know that you'll get two chances here. Number of attempts, there isn't any limit. After two chances, if it is not cleared, you again have to pay 4,800. But I'll give you a hack where you can get a free certification also. Now that hack would be shared somewhere in the middle of the our sessions. You have to certainly go through that hack. I'll definitely share, and you will definitely get a free certification there, but you have to certainly follow that process. Now that process is certainly a time consuming, but I'll give you that hack as well. Okay, now how to get 50% discount? Suresh had a question. That coupon code would be shared to you from the KSR end. 50% flat discount coupon code would be shared to you from the KSR end. Okay, so yeah, Julie, Priya, you can go ahead with your question.
So I was looking at the syllabus and stuff that you shared with us. I'm wondering when will we get to do projects along with your help?
Okay, so we would be starting with SQL. Once the SQL is done, we would be moving towards the Power BI. So a combination of SQL and Power BI, we would be getting, and we will be covering the projects there, where more a kind of sales related projects, more a kind of healthcare related projects, and more a kind of a cloud technical domain projects. So I'll be covering 3 domain projects in this course, combination of SQL and Power BI. And at the end, we would be covering an end-to-end project, which will include the cloud domain also.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Farhan, you can go ahead with your question. Just a moment. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So Ritesh, this discount coupon you have just mentioned, that 50% discount coupon, who will be eligible for that? What is the criteria for that?
See, there isn't any criteria. You will get this coupon at the end of this course. End in the sense, once we assume that you are good enough to attempt this examination, by that time we can share your 50% discount coupon from the KSR end. You will be getting a email ID from KSR. Once you enter that email ID, you'll get a coupon visible to there, and with that coupon, flat 50% discount you would be getting.
Okay. So how you determine who is eligible? You will be conducting an exam?
No. I won't be conducting any examination. If you really think, no, the question is, how would I analyze that? Would you able to crack or not? In simple terms, at the end of Power BI, SQL and Power BI, we take a count that how many folks are attending these sessions, and we'll share the KSR email IDs would be shared at the start of Power BI only. So we'll ask few folks that you are attending Power BI sessions on daily basis. So if you think you are able to attempt this PL300 examination, try to check free slots and enter with your KSR credentials so that you will get a discount. And I'll not stop anyone to attempt this PL300, even though I think he might have not attended this course on daily basis, but he's going through recordings, he's practicing, he will be definitely eligible to attempt this. So we are not blocking anyone. We will be giving that coupon code. We'll be sharing the email IDs with everyone. So whoever would be part of SQL Power BI, they will definitely get this advantage. Everyone would be getting a coupon discount. We are not shortlisting few people only and we are sharing that coupon codes. No, that won't be the process. Everyone who are a part of this course will get a flat 50% discount. Yes, Farhan, you can go ahead with your question.
Hi, Ritesh. Good morning. Farhan here.
Hey,
Okay,
good morning.
so I would like to ask about this certification which you are telling data analytics and engineering. So basically, we have to proceed further with this certification after completion of the courses, right? The course which is
Yes.
we are enrolling right now. So once
Yep.
we will finish, and then we will go for the certification, right?
Yes.
Okay. And the second question is the term which you explain Azure, right? So what is the difference like Power BI and uh, SQL both comes under Azure, or Azure is some different, or Power BI and SQL is different?
Okay. So to answer this, SQL is a database service or a database language.
Okay.
Now, database can be stored in your local system also. Data can be stored in the cloud also. So if
Right.
you're trying to check, maybe you have heard about the SQL Server.
Yeah.
Yeah, SQL Server is a product of Microsoft Azure, which is
Okay.
whatever information you store, that information is accessed anywhere from the cloud only. So whatever you use in SQL Server, that is all stored in Microsoft Azure. And you have a
Okay.
question related to Power BI. If you create Power BI reports, you need a Power BI desktop, which would be a
Okay.
on premise. Now in your laptop, you have to download that Power BI report, the developer tool, Power BI
Tool.
desktop.
Okay.
But
Okay.
if you
Kind of
want to
tool.
share, if you want to share it with the multiple users, you have to upload that to Power BI service.
Okay.
And Power BI service is a product of Azure. It is a cloud product.
Okay. So basically, Azure is a cloud product, right?
Yep. Azure is a cloud, and cloud has multiple services. So Power BI service is a part and parcel of Azure. The SQL Server data which is stored is a part and parcel of Azure.
Okay, got it, got it. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, Pradeep, you can go ahead with your question. Yes, you're audible. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. This is Pradeep here. So I've actually joined probably like on December 1st of this month, where they said that the course is getting started on 14th, which is today. And they asked me to start with the existing class where they already started Power BI over there because they have completed SQL and they started Power BI, and I've started working with Power BI. I'm actually a functional consultant from SAP C4C, where I've moved to Dynamics because of lack of opportunities here in Canada, Vancouver.
Okay.
So I completed the cloud version of the C4C from Microsoft. I'm preparing for Power BI Data Analyst Associate, which is why I joined. So my question is like, how would I be able to crack something with Power BI Data Analyst Associate Certificate once I complete the SQL? And like the second question is, when can the SQL class be completed? Like how much time would it take for me to complete the SQL class?
Okay, so you might have joined with the Santosh Power BI sessions, right?
Yes.
Okay, so SQL, it would be around 20 days, 20 lectures. After that, we would be moving to Power BI, which would be accumulate around 35 to 40 lectures. So you can assume that by 15th of January, we would be completing the SQL concepts, and then we would be moving to Power BI from 15th of Jan, or maybe after 15th of Jan.
Yeah, because of the time constraint, there's a couple of hiccups which I'm facing to attend the classes. That's not a problem though, because you guys have a good structure of recording the sessions, and like there's a proper cloud version, like our page where you can access the data. That's something really good about the KSR.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would like, so like said in the course, it's SQL, Power BI, and once the Power BI, it's also Azure Data Factory. And that's when we'd also be taught with MS Fabrics. That's what
Yep.
like they've told in the beginning,
Yep.
like said. So would I be able to pitch something for the like the certification of Azure 900, like AZ 900, the basic fundamentals of Azure Data Cloud? Will I be able to be ready by end of January to Feb, like mid of Feb?
So AZ 900 is more specifically to the concept related to cloud terminologies, where it will include the subscription resource group, the individual services, the service principle. So that we would be starting in the month of maybe in the last month, around mid of March. Now
Okay.
you have joined with Santosh sessions. Probably by February you would be starting that, or maybe prior to that also. By end of January or maybe start of February, you would be starting the cloud concepts. So if you want to attempt AZ 900, you have to have your basics cleared with your cloud terminologies, because AZ 900 is more in depth of cloud terminologies, not technically or writing any coding. There won't be any specific coding format there. Whereas
Okay.
for DA 100, you'll get few DAX concepts for
Yeah,
Power BI DAX.
yeah, DAX is something like right now is happening with Power BI, the other
Yeah.
class with Santosh.
Mhm.
So we are into good sessions. The practice is going good, but the only question is, I want to like give it a try in February. So I just thought of it because the job market is very fuzzy over here in Canada. So I just have a couple of questions in regards to that. And like once I complete the course, let's just say by March, would you guys be able to give any leads for any hiring platforms over here in Canada? That's my last question. Sorry.
Okay, so from Canada point of perspective, it would be better that the KSR team would be answering, because I'm not anyhow directly dealing with the US or Canada folks. Definitely there is a help channel where you will be getting a help related to your interviews, where you will be getting some interview tips and tricks also with the sessions or with the courses we are going to complete. But from Canada point of perspective, I may not be the right person to answer. You have a flexibility, you have a free hand. Always check with the KSR team that there is any specific team or a person who is working with the Canada folks for getting any interview calls or any further shortlisting process. If I answer this, maybe I would be wrong, but yeah, you can check with the KSR folks. There should be a person, because there are few folks from Canada who have taken the course from US as well as Canada. You can check with Santosh as well, or you can check with the KSR team. For now, I am restricting to answer. Why? Because I'm not sure if there is a certain dedicated person assigned to that or not. But yeah, Mahesh is there in this call. I may not. Okay, this is not there. Yeah, Mahesh.
Yes. What's your exact question, guys? In Canada, you are looking for an opportunities?
Yes.
Yeah, right, in the US and Canada and Mexico, the market is different. And Canada, if you are in a PR state, there is some certain consultancies we are working with them, so they can able to market and get able to place as soon as possible. But right, how the Canada and US market will work. You need to pay to the consultancy around. You need
Yeah,
to pay work under
I
their
know, I know that. I know.
yeah, we do have almost 40 plus consultancies we are connected with the US, and there are few even working with Canada. But
Okay.
most of the people, they won't show interest on Canada. Reason, after PR you can able to jump to easily to another company, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
they will focus more in US, less in Canada.
Okay. Sure.
Might be if you have idea about K-Force, we are giving corporate training to the K-Force students as well.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Kforce is one of the big giant. It's like in a Collabra, or else it's a kind of, it's in a, right, how it will work in US and Canada, both it's there. Kforce, S-Force, Blue Era, TechBeam, MagTech. These are bigger giants and small companies. Both we are giving training for their candidates.
Okay. Yeah.
And we'll also
Okay,
help them to get market their profile.
but like, yeah, your sections are very I don't attend any sessions, but what I'm going through is like all the recorded sessions, and I'm practicing. They're very helpful, and Santosh is really knowledgeable, and I hope it continues with Ritesh too.
Yes.
Thanks.
No, we do have multiple trainers who are all working with a similar way. Previously, we are worked together as well in the similar companies. Either Uma or Ritesh directly working with the Microsoft now, and Santosh, Uma now changing her company. So that's the reason we get some gap with her current training. She might also will start soon. Ritesh also directly working with the Microsoft. That's the reason he knows more about the two exam certification as well. So we do have multiple people, sir. All are on a working professionals. That's the reason all our trainings will be either morning or evening.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Manish, you can go ahead with your question.
Yeah, my concern is there. Can you some differentiate between the Power Fabric and Power Platforms? So I have 11 years, 13 years experience in Oracle EBS side, and then nowadays I am also working in Power BI as a development of on-premises server side.
Mhm.
So I want to go with as a Power Platform, or it is a Power Fabric is better for me.
Okay, so Power Platform is a different tool where you would be working on Power Apps. Now, Power Apps is nothing but a creation of certain application, a mobile application or a website application without much coding. Moreover, it would be drag and drop only. There you will definitely require very less coding. And it also includes Power Automate, which is nothing but logic apps, which we would be covering in this course also. Now, the question is valid. Either you want to go with Power Automate or Power Platform, or either you want to go with Power BI. Now, it purely depends on you. Power BI and Power Platform is also an open position, but opportunities are completely different for that. And Power BI with Azure. Now, Power BI with Azure, you will get more number of openings as compared to Power Automate. Yeah, Power Automate, it is slightly different, where it would be a combination of website creation as well as reporting. And Power BI with Azure, it would be more a kind of pure data analytics.
Okay,
Now,
so it's based on my point of view as an experienced person of the 30 years experience. So this is the right choice.
So one question, sir, one thing. We need to differentiate about your experience and your package also. Every technology and skill set has some saturation point in terms of package. If I'm taking the package, Power Platform, it's easy to get up to 15 lakhs or hardly 20.
Okay.
After 20, it will be very difficult to get more than that. And similar way in Power BI also, only with the SQL and Power BI, we can able to achieve 12 lakhs or 15 lakhs. By adding Azure, you can go till 25 lakhs. By adding Python, you can go 30 lakhs. So it depends on your experience, also your interest. If you are interested with the coding, then I can suggest a different course. If you are not interested with the coding, I will suggest a different course.
Okay.
Yeah, we can discuss offline also, because the saturation point also is very important, and your next level 5 years goals also. It's a continuous process. In data, we have an opportunity to upgrade ourselves in the same domain compared to other technologies like DevOps. After some certain point of time, it will be difficult to upgrade ourselves. We need to change completely domain. But in data, you can simply start your data journey with Excel by learning Excel as a reporting analyst, later by Power BI or Tableau or Alteryx, whatever that depends on the project to project. After that, by adding cloud. After that, by adding Python. After that, by adding PySpark and data engineering or machine learning and AI in data science. And after cloud architect level also. So entire our career might be maximum our career we can spend on data, but no other technology or skill set have these kind of opportunities.
Okay, so most of the organizations I've seen there, so they have the one means Oracle database, Sybase database that they are using as a whose of the ERP platform is working.
Yes.
And is that you are as a Azure's platform, so we can directly connect with Oracle database.
So here your main work will be data engineering. It's not by a database work, data engineering or data analytics. Either it's SAP also. Some databases is SAP. We just need to connect the data set and we need to work on as an analytics point of view. So here Azure, AWS, GCP or Snowflake, those are databases might be, but we just need to connect with them and our main work will be analytics.
Yes, I got the points, but there are some difference. Means as a it's a different persons who are going to connect the database from the oracles like that.
Not exactly. Maybe Ratish, you can answer
yeah,
it better.
yeah. So Manish, Power BI has around 100 plus different connectors. So you said that you have a SAP connector. Yeah, there are SAP connectors also. Power BI is for reporting. Now you have a question that is there a different team or is there would be a different people who would be taking data from SAP and connecting it to Power BI. You can directly connect from SAP to Power BI as a data analyst. You have to work on it. Or probably you also have a question that can we clean the data which we are getting from SAP and store it somewhere and then connect it to Power BI. That also we are going to cover. Now the basic engineering stuff also we are going to cover in this course. So whichever is required for reporting, prior to that whatever is required for cleaning and processing, that all concepts would be covered.
Okay.
Clear? Any more confusion or any more question?
No, it's okay, sir. No problem.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Sirisha, you can go ahead with your question.
Yeah. Ritesh, I just want to have a few questions here. So the one what you mentioned is the services that you mentioned and post in the different slide. So the managed identities, or is that also a service, or is that only the we connect to different databases? Like managed identity, I would just like to have this. Is that a service?
This one.
Yes, exactly. In this
Identity is a category and there are different services available in this. Identity, Azure Active Directory. Yes, it's a product of identity service. Azure Active Directory means whatever email IDs you are getting, that all email IDs are created under this Active Directory domain. Nowadays, this AAD is called as Entra Active Directory.
Okay. Understood.
The service name is AAD and identity is a category.
Okay, I was thinking that this managed identity is a kind of service that we have in this particular Cloud Insights.
There are multiple services, but this is accumulated as one single category.
Okay. And I have another question is, let's say right now the kind of hours that we are splitting for Power BI, ADF and the respective other different Synapse Analytics. So with this knowledge, will we be able to challenge the roles that we have in ADF in the market? I just have this question because the content of Power BI is like 70% and the others are a bit less, right? So will this be more than enough to gain a particular opportunity, no matter if it's not an Indian market as well? So what is your take on this? Yeah.
Okay, so to simplify it, it is not 70% Power BI. Even though Power BI looks 35 days, Power BI is 50%. SQL is 20%, 30% goes to Azure. Now we are focusing more on Azure also. And for ADF point of perspective, we would be covering end-to-end ADF. Databricks, Synapse, they are bit higher as compared to ADF. We can club these two services with ADF also. So ADF, I can definitely guarantee you we can cover. I mean, we would be covering end-to-end with every basic fundamental also. Now, if you attempt AZ 900 and if you attempt PL 300, that would be clear certification for you, and ADF would be end-to-end. Yeah, you will have a question that do we cover end-to-end Databricks? Now, Databricks, whichever is required from the data analyst point of perspective, that we would be covering. Synapse, which would be required from the data analyst point of perspective, that we would be covering. But ADF would be end-to-end.
Okay.
So you can get, you can get whichever challenge you are getting or whatever role you're looking out for in terms of ADF with Power BI and SQL, you can definitely attempt or they can definitely crack that.
Okay. Yeah, understood. And there's one more thing that you mentioned was a hack that you would be sharing with us at the middle of the course. And is that a hack to complete the course? Like what kind of is that?
No, not that course. Even if you not related to our course, the hack is something certainly different. it's a
Alright,
time
yeah.
consuming, but you will get a free certification. That is that's a different, I mean, we have to focus on that, but I'll share that hack also. That's a different
Alright.
thing, and that is not related to our course.
Okay, so that's related to certification, I believe, right?
Yes, yeah, purely
Okay.
certification.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. That's it from my end.
Okay, so Priya, you have a question, or I guess we already discussed, or you certainly have any other question?
So it's nothing like, if I miss a session, like how can I view the recorded version of this?
Okay, so once you register, maybe if you wait for 5 more minutes, Mahesh will give you an idea how to register and how to go back to the recordings. So the first 5 lectures would be free, and whichever lecture if you miss, you will definitely get a recording. You can view it once the class is completed. After 1 hour, recordings would be available for you for next 1 year.
You can guide them how to go with the record sessions as well.
Yeah.
Shall I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead, Mahesh.
Could you please allow me, bro?
Just a moment, I am giving you the access. Yeah, I've made you co-host.
Yeah. So, right, this is our website, datavision.com. There is one more website also very soon launching with multiple options, but now you can go with this. Okay. And you can just, if you are a first time, you just go here and sign up with your email address, or else you just go with a Google account as well. First time sign up, guys. Who already sign in, just go with the login. Place your email ID here. It will take a OTP as well first time when you are using either email or phone number. If you are in India, you can use your phone number as well. For abroad people, you can use your email ID for OTP. See, I'm getting the OTP for my mail. It's just a verification purpose, guys. So here all your already learning courses you can able to see. I will show you where you have to go there. You can register directly from here for a free session, or else click here in courses. And in upcoming courses or free courses, you can able to see this lecture as well in free sessions. Okay. This is the first 5 days. It's a free. That's the reason we are keeping in a free sessions. You can just click here. You can just enroll here. You will get access to the class. And you can see from here in the class records. It's a last week demo, which is happened on Sunday 10th and today's session. It's still going on live. So it's showing as a join now. Once live is completed, you can able to get this button as a view recording. It's hardly take half an hour to 45 minutes to update the recorded version, guys. From tomorrow onwards, you can use this way. Also, you can directly use our application from mobile, or else you can use our website from the laptop. KSR Data Vision app is available both in Android and iOS. Hope you got to know, right? If you have any doubts or something, you can ask me.
Hi, Ritesh.
Yeah.
For last, due to some reason, for last half an hour, could not listen properly. So can I have the recording for 2 days?
Yeah, you will get it. Yeah, I'm saying no. After completing this lecture, maybe by 10:30 or 11 o'clock, you will get the entire record lecture here.
Okay, thanks.
It's still live going on. Just that's the reason it's showing as a join now button. Once the record is this live is ended, you will be able to see the view recording after 40 minutes. And regular your details also we will get follow-ups, your exams, your certification, course completion, and your admission details and everything we can able to track. Right, it's a free course, right? That's the reason it's showing invoice. It's a paid session, you will get your invoice as well. So regular your attendance also we will take it. If you are not following regularly classes, our team will call you to attend lectures regularly. It's not like in a forcing, it's as we are not kids, right? So, but just a follow-up. What reason you are not able to attend something, our team will follow up on that. Any concerns or questions you can ask me, guys.
Yeah, anything related to how to enroll, any questions you can ask Mahesh.
Here in the similar way, you will able to see the tab. I just enrolled multiple classes to explain in this way. That's the reason it's showing. But for you, today's class automatically will update here, and you will get an email also, like as a reminder email, and directly you can able to join here on that day.
Mahesh, this is Ajay here. I have one question. So actually, in the middle, Ritesh has explained that he will share some hacks to clear the certification. So do we in that do we have to pay that 4,800 or it's something?
Now, actually, to be frank, this is to me also it's a new. Ritesh said it's completely free. for me, we do have 50% discount from Microsoft as a gold partner. I can able to provide you as a coupon code for 50%. But Ritesh just informed me in the session, he can able to make it is completely free. I'm not sure. We'll explain in detail in shortly. But from my side, I can able to provide 50% discount. You can able to pay hardly 2,800 or something. It's a coupon code.
And one more thing, may I know what is the Ritesh background, from where he has been working?
so
And I can see he's a ex TCS.
Yeah, now currently working with some Microsoft projects.
Okay, so to answer this, your good name, I can see your mobile name, but your good name, please.
Ajay, my name is Ajay. Actually, I am also working with TCS, and I am with a Microsoft project only.
Okay.
So that is the thing. Where you have been placed, like in Bangalore or Hyderabad.
In that case, some details maybe it's not good to share then.
Okay, so I'll keep it free for you. I am working from Hyderabad only. So I work for Microsoft from an Indian MNC. I've been working with Microsoft since last 4 years, and I have around 6 years of experience, 5+ around 6. And I'm by start of my career only, I've started with Power BI. So I've started my career in 2018, and that 2018 was the year which Power BI gained much of success. It came into market, it came into dominance. So from that year, I was associated with Power BI. I was associated with the Azure stack. So 6 years of experience, 4 years of experience of training freshers. From 2 years of experience, I've been training my team in the sense freshers who join the team, how to upskill them, how to upgrade them. So I have, how to explain, how to get it understood to the end user. So that all process I know. Anything apart from this you wanted to know?
No, not that.
So you work from TCS to the Microsoft account. Yeah, I remember you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Today I got to know you have class, then sort of attending it. It's interesting. This here regarding PL3 and direct examination, you can just go at the bottom where the technical skill will be tested, in this PL30 and 300 examination. There is a last point it is mentioned there. It's deploy and maintain assets. Could you please explain this term? What does it mean? I could not understand this.
Okay, so deploy means whichever applications you're working in the local systems, you have to deploy it. You have to certainly transfer that application to cloud. That
is publication.
Publishing it to cloud. Now, simple example, Power BI report, publishing it to service, deployment it to service.
Okay. And what does it mean, maintain assets?
Maintaining assets. Now, maintaining means, see, for every application you deploy, there would be a downtime. I have explained you. If the cloud goes in downtime, you have to certainly make sure that your application is still running, because downtime means cloud will anyhow not, or it will restrict the people who are using that application. So in order to overcome that, you have to certainly make sure that your application is somewhere connected to some other region. Now, cloud will not go downtime for all the regions in one single go. It will go downtime for India. For US, it will work fine.
Okay.
So maintaining the assets in multiple regions.
It means it's monitoring, right? Whether my application
not monitoring, but kind of maintaining application or movement of application if there is a downtime in specific region to some other region. So maintaining that upward, maintaining that without any loss of data, without any downward of data.
Okay. And one more last question. As you said, Power BI service, this is the cloud-based service, right? And also you explained there are 18 categories of cloud services. So could you please let me know just on which category this Power BI service falls in?
Okay, so Power BI service and Fabric is a different product. They are part and parcel of Microsoft Fabric as a service, and Microsoft Fabric, it's a new introduction. So it is a part of compute, it is a part of networking, it is a part of security, it is a part of identity. As I've said, one service can be part of multiple categories. Now, Azure, the Fabric contains all the services. So it is a part of around 15 to 16 different categories.
No, my question is, okay, that's right. You already explained that one because one service belong to different categories, right? Multiple categories. So my question is the Power BI service where you just we discussed after the development of the report, you publish it.
That is what I'm saying. That is what I'm trying.
And which category of service we work with? In which category you work? This
So that is what I'm saying. Power BI service is a product of multiple multiple categories combined together. For Power BI service, you also need authentication. You also need identity. You also need to log in. So that is a part of identity and authentication or security. You also need to have access to the reports using security. I mean the access level or row level security mechanism. So that's a product of a kind of compute service. You can access it via virtual machines also. So service is not a separate or an individual category. It's a combination of multiple categories.
Okay with this. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, Akash, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hi Ritesh. After completion of course, how will you assist us to get a job?
Okay, so Mahesh, would you like to pitch in? Okay, so to answer this, job assistance, we would be teaching you how to create your resume, how to attempt any interviews.
Sorry, I lost you in between. I can answer this question, guys.
Yeah.
So you can see this is our new application and website. We are releasing on 24. So it's in a local system now. So once your classes is completed, from resume preparation onwards, till you are getting calls, it's a completely our responsibility. It's not like a service or something. It's a completely as a responsibility. Building your resume, making your Naukri and LinkedIn profile in a proper manner, and we will guide you and encourage you to write some blogs also. This will help you to make your profile the digital presence we call it. So these blogs also will encourage students also to write some blogs in your LinkedIn profile. Compared to Naukri, and slowly LinkedIn is getting more opportunities. So you need to make your profile in a better manner in LinkedIn on day one onwards. Once you join the classes, and in between our trainer will explain you to start your LinkedIn profile. What are the assignments you are doing, and frequently you have to update there. Example, recently our old student, he was working with L&T Mindtree now, old student, he was still working on some projects, and he was updating there. Even our old students long back, let me show you his details if required. So you can check it, their projects, what are they explaining in the classes, those projects also you can able to update in your LinkedIn as just a dummy projects we are interested. Maybe few people get a doubt when we are learning and you have to prepare a resume as experience. If I'm explaining here, making some projects as a dummy projects, it will get doubt or something, but not like that. Example, currently you are working in a retail domain, we can able to showcase as a healthcare project, we are working as a practice purpose. Those kind of things and all we will do. These blocks also you can able to write, but our system will verify it is copied or your own prepared. If it's a own prepared, even we are ready to pay for that each block, and this will be helpful for you to make it as a digital presence. Right. So from till preparing a resume and getting calls, it's our responsibility, and we have separate team for mentors. Let me show you. Yeah. So each and resume our team will prepare here, and different people is there. Our even those are most of the people our old student which is joined in 2020 and 21. Those people who are currently working. So we will make a resume, and each and individual resume will try to make it different. Yeah. Now it's on WhatsApp also showing, right? This is our mentors group, and each and individual resume our team will prepare, and they will take care like it's not a duplicated. And we will connect with that person, and they will try to make that resume as per their domain. Example, currently if you are working within a retail projects, we will make sure to make the resume also in the retail project. Each and individual resume, every resume should be different from the old one.
Mahesh, I have a question. Let's say, for example, right now I'm working for a company, and I'm right now staying in Pune. So I'm been working here from past like 1 year and like 2 months. So the same experience, will you be helping me preparing the resume with the current course content, what I would be consuming? Will that also be there?
Yes. So example, consider this guy is our old colleague, actually, as some name is coming here, Harish. He was working with the Cargill. It's an food industry, actually. So what I made, his resume I made as per the Cargill requirement. Even I worked with the Cargill previously. So I prepared his resume. He was a data analyst at Cargill. To be frank, actually, he was not a data analyst at Cargill, but he was working with a different domain. I prepared his resume as he was working as a data analyst at Cargill. And I try to handle what kind of projects is available in Cargill, similar kind of projects we updated. for
Yeah,
2 years.
but the thing is here, I'm genuinely working from past like 1 year. Yeah, so with Power BI and like somewhat
So it's
Azure
not
is
a
coming
fake
in.
experience, no. If
Yes.
you are saying like
Yeah.
it's not at all fake experience, I won't
Okay.
encourage to make a fake experience. If you are
Yeah.
working in any company, you are getting a salary from the company, you are an employee of that company, we can showcase. No one will verify what kind of job you are doing there. They will verify hardly, are you working there or not?
Yes, understood. Understood.
Even it's happened in officially also. Example, if you are working with the TCS currently in Alteryx or else on a ClickView openings is not there. Your RMJ team will force you to learn Power BI and may prepare your resume and Power BI developer or data analyst.
Yes.
You know, who are working in a service-based companies, they can understand this, right?
Yeah, I
The
understand.
same thing we are doing here.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie like you will get job as a fresher. You just completed course after 10 years of your work experience and holding around 18 lakhs package. And by saying I just completed my course at KSR, give me 20 in the sense, no one will give it to you, right?
Yeah, I understood. No, just the query that whatever experience that I'm currently going on,
Yes.
will you be a help of that also?
Exactly.
Yeah, just
There
that
is no,
question.
we won't encourage anyone to make it as a fake experience. If you are working in any company,
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
We just need to lie actually. We need to modify your resume.
okay. Not a problem. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Any other questions, Sirisa? I guess you were unable to raise the hand.
Yeah, I had the same question. Yeah, so I've posted this to you a while ago. Yeah, that's it from my end.
There's a reason. Our team again, they will call to that person. Example, Arif Shandan, a data engineering resume. My team will call to him and they will get his full details currently where he was working and what his domain and how many years of he was experience. And as per that, they will prepare resume. Each resume we will take an average 2 to 3 days. Immediately we can't see them.
So that will be at the end of the course or maybe somewhere in the middle of the course also if I need the resume. So will that also work, right?
Tomorrow also, but what we can do without learning.
Okay. Yeah, that is there. Understand.
See, to answer this for SQL, once we complete SQL and once we are mid of Power BI, you can start with your resume preparation and LinkedIn profile preparation. So for Power BI and SQL, you can go ahead. If you want an edge over Azure, you have to wait till the end of this course. But taking into account, by mid of February, you can start with the interview preparations and the resume preparations.
Okay.
Mahesh, I have one question. So actually, I just want to know like how what level of information this course will be covering. Like if I say SQL, is it advanced level, intermediate level, or beginning level? And for Power BI also the same. And for ADF, like Azure platform and every like whatever is covering like a Synapse, everything. So what level of information we will be gathering here?
Yes, I got your question. For single level question answer, I can able to probably tell you the equal to a 3 years experience guy, how much knowledge have as a data analyst, that much knowledge we are sharing here. It's not like an intermediate level or a low level. If need in a more details, maybe Ritesh, you can answer. It's a completely, you can see how our system will work. Once you joined as a full student, every batch have separate group. So those people, whatever the reports they are preparing, we will try to encourage here. It's like in a virtual classroom. Because of it, you will get a more questions and more doubts. Each question exam, consider one student have one question. There is 100 people in each batch. If they are asking 100 different questions, your interview will be cleared.
Let's connect back tomorrow. It would be at same time, 8 a.m. in the morning. Thank you, everyone, and have a very good day.